Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on April 18th, 2021 at approximately 6:46 a.m. p.m. PST. Now, to be clear, that's 6:46 p.m. PST. I've always told people that these are live recordings, meaning I do not go back and correct what I've said. So any stumbles, any hiccups, any words that I mispronounce, you get what they are. If you ever end up running into me, okay, you'll find I speak exactly the same way to people in person as I do right now. Now, I became a recluse a long time ago, or rather reclusive. I still get out of the house, not very much, but I do get out of the house. But we've talked about success an awful lot. Okay, probably too much in some ways, because what I've done is I've ended up repeating a lot of it. But here's the thing. Everybody, and it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, doesn't matter where you started. Virtually everybody I've ever met, ever talked to, ever heard about has had the same thing. They've been striving to make their life better in their own eyes, but so few have figured out how to do it. Now, we start off with the idea, and yeah, we did this time. I told you yesterday we were going to do our best to be a little more organized. So we made sure that we made a few notes for ourselves. One of the biggest things that I find is people aren't taught how to be successful or how to cope with the setbacks. So the basic cycle that people go through, myself included, is this. You start off with a goal. I desire to become successful at whatever, fill in the blank with whatever you choose. Okay. You set that goal in place, and then something happens. For instance, just on a real direct note, on March 6th of this year, I set out to start doing these videos, and I was intending on doing it without a setback, without missing one. Well, on the 16th of the 16th of April, just a couple of days ago, I missed one. Okay, now this is very definitely, in my eyes, it's a setback. And what it really boils down to is this. I had a goal. It was to do this. It has now become impossible to do that goal. I cannot go back and correct that. Okay, what I can do is make certain that from here on out, I do my level best to continue going without missing another day. But the idea of a 100% complete day, complete cycle, isn't going to happen. That's just not possible anymore. Because you cannot go back and change that which which has already been missed. The past is over. It's done. And yes, I'm looking for something. I'm looking for these. Okay. You can't alter what's already happened. And I will have to, I'm still, can we try one thought at a time? What do you think? I still have to put the paperwork together to show you what time travel works like from my understanding. Okay, but the past is already done. You cannot go back and rearrange it so it doesn't work that way. However, you do have the issue of we've got a setback. Now, I could take that setback and say, scrap it, I didn't make it, so I'm just going to quit. Okay, and honestly, that used to be essentially the way it worked, is I'd quit. And then some, but I guess in a sense I didn't quit because I'd keep coming back to it and trying again and again to get things moving right. Lord knows I did that a lot with finances. Okay, now, once you figure out you've had a setback, then the idea is to regroup. Get yourself refocused, look back at that goal, and go, okay, I got off track, but I'm not giving up. There's something in me that still drives me to finish doing what I set out to. And there is undoubtedly something that still drives you to set out to accomplish what you've aimed at. Setbacks, you cannot, you're going to end up with them. Everybody does. The trick is to refocus yourself and go, okay, this is where I'm heading. Okay. Once you've got it refocused, then you go back at it. And obviously that panel wasn't working. Okay. So you get back at it. You reset you refocus, and you go, okay, I'm going to go forward from here. And then you get back on it. And again, this is a cycle that keeps happening until you figure it out. Now, we've talked about past lives and that sort of thing, which is essentially what has brought this whole thing about. Because society is doing the same thing. They keep trying to find ways to make life better for everybody. But they're building on old concepts. And you're probably building on old concepts. Old setbacks, old problems that create complications. And of course, you've got the memories of past failings, past hiccups. Now, the past hiccups are going to be there. The memories are going to stay. You might bury them eventually, to the point they aren't quite so bad. But in time, you'll figure it out. In the meantime, we start at the beginning. Okay, and that is, you start with refocusing right at the ground level. 4 words. I am worth it. Those are the 4 most powerful words that I've run into in combination to help with personal self-esteem, with personal sense of self-worth. Regardless of what anybody else tells you, the reality is the only person that can develop self-worth is you. Hence the term self. Okay. Now, when we're talking self-worth, we're not talking about a quantifiable monetary value. Because whether you live on the street, whether you are living in a small house, in an apartment, in a massive mansion, you all have the same issue. You're all living. And you're all responsible for your own success. Absolutely, talk to the people that have done it successfully in order to get there. Okay, now, if you look back over the past videos I've done, you'll hear a lot of the things I've gone through. Now my life is more like science fiction than anything else. This much I've definitely come to understand. One of the biggest things that I look at is this. Everybody is the same spiritual value. Okay, everybody in their own world has to be number one. Okay, where it becomes a problem is when, if you look at yourself and go, I'm number one, when you start looking at that and telling everybody that, everybody else that you're better than they are, you're more valuable than they are, okay, when you start believing that, that becomes a problem. Okay, now I'll be back in just half a moment. Okay, we're back. Now, as I said, the reality is, no matter where you come from, no matter how you got to where you are where you are. And changing your life does often require dealing with setbacks and getting refocused. Okay, now those 4 words, I am worth it, are critical. No matter who you are, no matter where you come from, they're rather a crucial issue, I've found. Now, that said, the second one, because we live in a physical world, okay, and finance is the current method of barter. Okay, so when we talk about money, money is not the root of all evil. Some people have more money than others. Some people don't have less. But money is required one way or the other. And simply put, it is the easiest way to barter. A dollar is worth this much, therefore we're going to use it there. Now, how the global economy works, I don't know. How the local one works, that's easy. Okay, so figure out what you require to run your house. Okay, regardless of what your house looks like. Use that number as X. On a sheet of paper, right where you work with your finances, you literally write down, I have legally attained X number of dollars by April 30th of 2021 at 1 minute to midnight. Okay, that will help keep you focused on the financial side. Now, the little odds and ends that you're dealing with, that's where that list that I keep showing you, and there it is. This little list that I keep showing you. Okay, you put a list together of the things that you require, that you feel require being done. Keep the list to jobs that are 15 minutes to half an hour in length. And that will help you get on track of it. Okay, stay on top of it. It will also help you get things done so in a fashion that you can see them shifting. You don't focus on what you think you might like in the future. Focus on what you have right now, what you're not content with. Whatever you're not content with, whatever it is, start altering it. Start eliminating the things out of your life that you're not content with. But remember, where it comes to relationships, it's not just you. You are only 50% of the equation. Now, I will tell you this. One of the changes that I really wanted to make, and that I really desired to make myself, was after I had my stroke back in 2018. I was having trouble getting my left arm to work properly. Since I moved my coffee cup over on the left side, and if you've had a stroke and you've still got full feeling, when I'm talking about full feeling, if you can still feel your fingers and your hands and they're just not responding properly, practice is what will make them work right. But it's going to take you time. It's going to take effort. And no matter who tells you what is required to make that happen, you're the one that's going to have to do it. Okay, sometimes it's going to be a royal pain and you're going to have these thoughts of, I just can't do this anymore. It's taking too long. Undoubtedly it is. Okay, I've been fighting this for 2 years now. And I finally made a breakthrough that I am content with, that is going to open doors for other things. But it required the persistence and the patience to make it happen. Now, having a stroke is one of those things that can change your life overnight. Okay, everything for me was running nicely, in a way. Then I had the stroke, and all of a sudden, I had problems. Okay, most things that happen in life happen over time. Okay, so expecting everything to shift overnight is not functionally possible. I mean, there are ways of doing it. Like, I used to be a professional pack rat to a staggering level. Okay, now there are two ways of dealing with that. You can take all your stuff, put it in a pile in a safe, contained environment, and burn it. Not necessarily recommended, but it does happen on occasion. Much more effectively if you're trying to break the habit of being a pack rat. Take a look at whatever box you've got. If you haven't been into it for over a year, the odds are you don't really require it. But keepsakes you'll have around for a lot longer than that. Okay, now you get started and get moving again. And what I'm in the process of doing now is reassessing how I'm approaching things or what I'm talking about, how I'm making things happen. There are videos that I've been meaning to get to and I keep putting off for one reason or another. That's one of the biggest changes I have to personally make. I've got these goals, these ideas that I know have to come out. Okay, I've got a lot of writing that I've been working on, but I haven't, in all fairness, in my opinion, been properly focused. And that is something I have to get on top of. But the reality is I'm the only one that can do it. Okay, I'm the only one that can get focused myself. I can get other people to help to lay out a way of doing it. I can tell you the tools that I've been using and that I've been telling you about work like a charm if you use them. But then the best tools on the planet are totally useless if you don't pick them up. Okay, the best psychic in the world is useless if they don't let people know they're there. Okay, the best spiritual guide is absolutely totally useless if said spiritual guide is not following their own path. If a spiritual guide is not following the path they're talking about, then frankly you're going to have trouble staying focused on, you're staying essentially believing what they're telling you. Now this applies to the social side, relationship side, spiritual side, even the political side, all of it. Whoever is saying what, yourself included, if you're going to tell people something, it is absolutely critical that you back up what you tell them. If you don't, you're simply walking down a real hollow hallway. Okay, what I mean by that is, it's great to talk about things, but if you can talk the talk, that's great. And I see a staggering number of people that talk the talk. Then there are the people that walk the walk. But the real teachers, the real educators, are the ones that walk the talk and talk the walk. In other words, they tell you this is what needs to be done, and then they go out and do the same thing themselves where it applies to them. Okay, now I will tell you, I've run into setbacks after setbacks. I could go into that forever. But I noticed something the other day. Okay, I've been telling people the last thing I want to do is be set on a pedestal. I was talking to somebody one day. Whoops. Okay, well, looks like this is going to be one of those videos. Yesterday I was completely scared. Today at least I'm aware of what I'm up to. Okay, people can help you lay out a path to become successful, but you're still the one that's going to have to do it. Okay, so what we have to look at is a very simple issue. How do you get back on track? Well, it's the same way. You go back to the beginning, back to the grassroots. Okay. And remind yourself how to do things. You may be rusty at a path. Okay, you may well end up very rusty. They say once you've learned how to ride a bike, you never forget. You may be rusty, but it still works the same way. Okay, so the real catch to it is this. Get your list together, go one step at a time. The first step's easy. Okay. Second step's relatively easy because usually after the first step you start to stumble and you end up moving forward almost by accident. It's that third step, once you've caught your balance, of deciding, okay, I'm moving forward again. So you go, get on track, get set back, get back on track, and now carry on moving forward. It's a repeating cycle. It's kind of like walking. One step at a time, and you just keep repeating the process. The trick is to not give up on it. Okay. Now, the nice part about it is once you get to a certain, life goes on in an interesting fashion. You climb a ladder, you hit a plateau. It stays stable for a while, then you climb another ladder. It's the same as if you think about it going back down. When you're striving to drop weight, you'll lose a little bit, you'll plateau, then you'll lose a little more, then you plateau. Same idea. But the trick is to keep moving forward. Whether you're going up or whether you're going down, you keep moving forward because all of life does follow a simple cycle. Okay. If you stay on the right track, okay, and you're the only one that can determine if you're on the right track for you. The way to tell if you're on the right track is, are you feeling better about your life the way it is right now than you were a week ago? Okay, when you started this journey. If you're now feeling better than you did, then you're on the right track. If you're feeling worse, you might want to reorganize your thoughts. You might want to talk to somebody to find out where you're going off track. Okay. And by doing that, you can get yourself reoriented and back on track. Okay. And yeah, that sounds like we're talking about a lot of repetition, and we really are. Okay. But if you think about it, breathing is a lot of repetition. You breathe in, you breathe out. You breathe in, you breathe out. I mean, it just continues. That's the cycle of life in its ultimate level. Okay. One step at a time, and away you go. So when I get done today, I'm hoping, well, never mind hoping. Hoping is a great thing. Okay, she was even a nice lady. But when you hope that something works out, the trick is this. You have to put the effort into making it work out. Okay, success is not an issue of it just happens. Success is desire plus focused effort. That's how you get there. Now, I've also mentioned before that success requires a couple of things: purpose, plan, persistence, and patience. Okay, between those, what you've got is you've got the desire to be successful, and you've got the persistence, as in the focused effort to get there. Okay, all of these things work together. Now the question is, are you, as you're sitting right now, are you content with where your life is right at this specific moment? If the answer is yes, that's great. If the answer is no, it's time to start changing. In all fairness, I've run into very few people that are absolutely content with their world. Okay, but I can tell you this. Working together, everybody working together can make this a better world for all of us. Better meaning less fighting, less famine, less illness, okay, less conflict all the way around. But it's going to require everybody's effort. Okay, and that means from every walk of life, no matter what color you are, religion, orientation, political alignment, financial income, residential location, it doesn't matter. All of you, every single race, every single species on this planet, you're all on in first world countries, in first world locations. It is together that we will get this world back to a reasonable point where we can all actually be a lot happier. And think of it this way. You bring peace to your area, you'll find it's easier to keep your area in order. You know, when we talk about litter is again the same sort of an idea. One person dropping a coffee cup on the ground isn't a whole lot of damage. 100,000 people dropping a coffee cup on the ground is a staggering amount, but let's keep it down to real. Again, down to something very obvious. Okay, you get a group of people together, just six. Okay, just six people together. If one of you leaves a coffee cup on the table, okay, that's not too terribly much of a mess. But if all six of you leave the coffee cup on the table, it looks really bad. At least in my eyes, it does. Okay. Now, you could say, everybody could go, well, it's not my fault. I took my coffee cup. Right. So I don't have to do that. That's somebody else's job. You can certainly do that. Problem with that is, if nobody does it, it just mounts up. And this is why I say it's time for everybody to stop focusing on the differences and start focusing on the similarities between people. Because working together, we will turn this into a world that is far more enjoyable, far more relaxing for far more people. Okay. Now, I'm going to bring this to a close here pretty quick. But I do encourage you to really think about where you're standing in life. Are you sharing with people? Are you actually showing people? No, that's the wrong way to put it. Are you treating people the same way that you personally desire to be treated? If the answer is no, then it's time to really reassess how you're treating the other people. Okay, It's time to start focusing on what you feel would make you feel better if you were being treated that way. By doing that, you will find that the stress around you collapses, your health subsequently and your energy starts to climb. Overall, you'll be in far better shape. Okay, you don't have to believe me. Give it a shot and see what happens. In the meantime, I will be back to you tomorrow. Okay. And I think what I've got to do, no, I know what I've got to do, is first thing in the morning, as soon as I get up and get organized, get the video done as soon as I get up before I get on to anything else. That way I can get back into a routine. That's what I was doing for a while. Okay. Instead of going, no, I'm going to put it off until. No. I usually have a coffee first thing in the morning. Well, I can do it on my first coffee. I don't see a big problem with it. All that means is that I have to make sure that I've got my coffee ready, which that I can do the night before. Again, it boils down to planning. So, I know what I'm up to, and I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. Again, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, share it with as many people as you can, because overall, my real goal is to get this message out to everybody on the planet. Okay, that it's time for everybody to work together. Okay, at the bottom of the video, you'll find a list of different publications that I've already got in print that can be ordered through me that cover a lot of the stuff that I deal with. Okay, you'll also find a list of contact numbers below here, below the video, that show you how to get in touch with me. Plus, of course, on the first Friday of every month, you'll find me on Spaced Out Radio on a show called The E.T. Connection with R. Keith Andrews, where we talk about aliens, alien technology, this sort of thing. Okay, in any event, I'm going to call this a night today. Well, that was really strange. Anyway, I will catch up with you in the morning. And until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.